Hey guys, I'm Jen McKnight, and you are listening to the Mind Bean podcast, where we speak about everything that has to do with business, mindset, success, personal development, and everything you need to create that dream life. Now, today I am super excited because I'm going to introduce you to an extraordinary individual, Jacqui van der Riet, who started as a receptionist and built her business to a $12 million business. In this episode, we are going to go through Jacqui's phenomenal journey where she started as a receptionist and admin person for a small call center startup and built it to this machine, this marketing and sales machine with her business partner from the ground up. Now, you do not want to miss this because we are going to go through the insights, the behind the scenes of what it took for Jacqui to build this incredible business. We're going to discuss the pivotal moment where she went from a receptionist to an entrepreneur, crafting a brilliant business plan, how to navigate through that startup phase of your business, how to scale and be sustainable, how to be a true leader and build high performance teams, not to mention those challenges and obstacles that every entrepreneur has to navigate in their startup phase. Do not miss out on this. You are going to gain so much insight and knowledge from this phenomenal person, and I'm so excited to share this with you because I can guarantee you are going to be inspired.
What you gonna do when the rain is coming down? Nothing more to do when there's no one else around. Bring it back to the middle, push, take it back to the rhythm.
Jacqui, welcome to the Mind Bean podcast. We are super privileged to have you here, and I'm so excited because you are very inspiring. So thank you for being on our show.
Thank you, Jen. It's so lovely being here.
I'm
so excited.
super excited. So Jacqui, I'm going to start from the very beginning. Okay, tell me how you started off at a law firm where you were constantly reminded of the pecking order. You didn't see that there was growth for your future there. How did you end up at UDM, and where did your journey start?
Yeah, so if I go back a little bit just before the legal firm, I was working in Rustenburg. So I got married very young. I had my first baby when I was 20 years old.
Oh, wow.
And my husband and I moved to Rustenburg because we could get a free house and we could work on the mines. So on the mines, it's a very male-dominated environment, and that was in the late 80s. So women in the workplace, especially on the mines, was very, very difficult, I would say.
Yeah.
I learned a lot there. I mean, I learned how to stick up for myself. I learned how to find my voice. And I also realized there that, you know, if I needed to gain some respect in this world, I would need to get a qualification. So that meant I had to start doing a degree while I had a young family and working at the same time. So I stayed on the mines for about 4 years. It was quite an experience. And then my husband got a great job offer in Johannesburg, so we moved to Johannesburg, and I then had started studying a BCom correspondence, and I was doing quite a few law subjects. And also there was this amazing program on TV called LA Law. You're probably too young to remember it, but it was this really glamorized legal program. So I thought, okay, well, I would love to go and work in a law firm then. That looks cool. I think I would be suited to that. Yeah, lots of fun, and you could argue, and I thought that was great. So then I went and I applied at a law firm, and I got the job. And it was a great company, but again, it was very male-dominated. There was so much hierarchy in that company, which I hated that so much, because if you weren't studying law to become a lawyer, and if you weren't someone that was, going to become a lawyer there one day, you really were treated like you were at the bottom of the rung. And I suppose you were. But it was so weird because what they would do is they would give us lowly ones, we would get like Mari biscuits, and then the people in the more senior positions would get Romany creams. And I was like, those little things, I promise you, it annoyed me so much. And I've built a business that is completely tipped that on its head. Yeah. So in my company, the people that are at the bottom, so-called at the bottom, they earn more money and have more earning potential, and they get more recognition and more praise than the people that are at the top. Yeah. So including myself and my senior managers and my supervisors, they do not have the earning potential or get really all the recognition that the so-called people at the bottom do.
Yeah.
Because I believe that the people at the bottom, well, in my business, the people at the bottom are the ones that are bringing in the income.
They're the cogs in the wheel that's making it go.
Absolutely. Without them, I don't have a business. You know, I could do with less supervisors, for instance, but I can't do without those people that are doing the groundwork and bringing in the income. So I worked at the law firm for a year. I said to my husband, please, I'm only going to do this for a year. So that I could have nothing on my CV that was less than a year. But I need to get out. I didn't see a future there for me. I wasn't studying to become a lawyer. So there was just no growth for me there. So my husband actually found me the job at UDM. It was just in the newspaper. They were looking for a Girl Friday, a type of receptionist or a PA type role.
And at this point, it was just quite a small call center that was a startup. What was it at that point?
I didn't even know what it was, to be honest. So when I went for my interview, all I knew was that I could negotiate myself a higher salary than I was earning because I knew that they had interviewed many, many women for this role and no one had got the job. So I thought, okay, well, this is my chance to negotiate because I felt confident that I was going to be able to get this job. And so I went in there with good negotiation situation, good leverage.
And you had learned to fight by this point because you had experienced that pecking order from your previous company. You
I was
learned to fight your way.
That's right. And I kind of felt confident in myself. I think I've always had that kind of inner drive that I can be as good as anyone else. So I negotiated myself quite a good salary and then also a medical aid for my family. And I didn't even know what the job was. I didn't really care. I just knew that I wanted to get out of that environment that I was in. And I wanted more money. I think at that point in my life, we had a young family and I was really keen to earn more money.
And you had 2 kids at this time.
Yes.
I had your second kid.
Yes, I had. So by the age of 23, I had 2 children. Yes. And at that time, I was also I was studying my BCom correspondence and I was working full day. So it was busy. But yes, money was important. We were a young family. We were trying to get somewhere. So I got the job. And then when I started, I realized, okay, well, this is kind of a call center. I didn't even know what that was. And we had one lady that was working on the phones, and she was trying to reinstate lapse policies for an insurance company. So my job was basically to answer the phone that actually never rang. So it was
lovely.
So crazy. So I had quite a bit of time to kind of suss out. I would do stupid things, like I would go and sort out the filing, and then I would work for my boss. That was lovely, but I mean, we didn't really have much work to do. So eventually I got kind of bored and I decided, okay, I'm going to go and compete a little bit with this lady that was working on the phones. So I got some leads and I made some phone calls and tried to reinstate policies. And I learned so much. Like I realized, oh my gosh, if I want to try and improve this business, then maybe the client would like some stats. So I would write down every time we made a dial, I'd make a mark. Every time we made a contact, I'd make a mark. Every time we made a sale. So I started sort of gathering stats on how this thing worked and then building reports and reporting back to the client and trying to make an impression like that. And it kind of grew from there. From knowing nothing about it, I started writing scripts and started trying to do things better, implementing evening shifts, realizing, okay, well, I can't get hold of teachers and nurses during the day, so I think maybe we should do an evening shift. So let's go back to work at 6 till 8. I would take my children with me. And I kind of learned the trade like that and realized, gosh, I can do this.
It's so amazing to hear that, because I do think a big part of being an entrepreneur is you're a problem solver. You are solving problems every day. You're solving problems for consumers. You're solving problems in the business. So I think already at that point, that's probably when you were starting to change over into a more entrepreneurial role versus just being a receptionist or just being, an admin person. But you bring up something really interesting, and I love that you said that you brought your kids to work, because I think in today's age, so many more women are working versus what it used to be, the 80s moms where everybody stayed at home and, to look after their kids, and that was kind of the expectation.
Yes.
But in today's world, especially having online businesses, the capital that you need to start a business is next to nothing. It's not what it used to be years ago. You know, you can start a business with pretty much nothing. And so a lot of women are going into the space where they've got kids, they also are trying to launch a business, and they're trying to make it happen. Now,
Yes.
you know, there's this big discussion, it's like a hot word at the moment, which is balance. You know, I want balance in my life, but I also want to be extremely successful. And I do think that when you have balance, you're in the middle, and unless you want your business to be really extraordinary, you have to put in more time, effort, and focus to get it there, because it's not going to do that on a mediocre level.
That's right.
Which means that something else is going to take a back seat at that point. Now,
Yes.
and that's something that I try and juggle all the time. So
Yes.
my theory is that, you know, I know on the one side that I need connection and love in my life because it energizes me to do better in the workspace. I
Yes.
also need achievements in the workspace to be a better mom and that for my kids.
Absolutely.
Right? So what is the so-called balance? And I think that if you have a shorter period where you really go full out, and you don't go 7 years with no connection with your kids and you look back and you can't get it back, but you go through that grind and you still make sure that intermittently you have that connection so you don't lose it.
Yes.
You know, how did you manage this with your kids? Because I know that it couldn't have been easy.
Yes, I mean, I went through quite a traumatic time, really, because in the beginning, it's like you say, you have to put in, there's a lot of work that you have to put in to get your business off the ground. I mean, back then, it wasn't even my business. You know, I bought shares in that business once I could see, my gosh, this is going somewhere, and I'm making it go somewhere, so I want to own it. So, but back then, I mean, I was really just working, but we got a client after a period of time. We got a really a big opportunity to grow with another very driven bunch of people, and they wanted to grow their business alongside us, and we were really doing all the sales for them. So it took, you know, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and also me learning on the fly. You know, like I didn't go on a course on how to build a call center. There was no such thing. So
How
I was
to sell
learning
policies, how to take rejection,
how to write scripts, how to manage people, how to employ people. I'd never been on any course to do that.
Yeah.
So I was really learning on the fly. But at the same time, I had 2 young children and a husband. And at that time, my children were now going to primary school. And I decided, okay, now I want to be this mom that is at every netball practice, at every soccer game. I want to be doing homework with my children. I want dinner on the table at a certain time. You know, I still had that expectation of myself. But so what I did was I went and spoke to my boss at that time, and I said, listen, this is what I want to do, but I know that I can do a full day job in half a day. Yeah. So would I be able to please do that? And he said, okay, Jacqui, if you think you can do that, that's fine. Yeah. So at 1 o'clock, I'd put my stuff down and off I'd go and be with my children. And then I was helping them with their homework and taking them to hockey and to netball and to soccer. And then I was cooking dinner, and then I was spending time with my husband. And I was trying to be this absolute super mom and super employee all in one.
And we put so much pressure on ourselves as well. It's overwhelming.
No, you know, when I think back, I didn't realize it, because I think at that time I was still studying, or I was at my final year of studying as well. So there was all of this stuff that I'd piled on my plate. And I just, one morning, I woke up and I had lost my vocabulary. Like my vocabulary had gone. I remember standing in front of a few staff and couldn't find my words. I would sit in the shower in the morning and just cry. I would spend nights where I couldn't sleep. I just could not get one moment of sleep. And I just sunk into this absolute dark, dark place. And I didn't know what it was. I thought it was depression, or it was this underactive thyroid that I had been diagnosed with. I thought that there was, you know, I just didn't know what it was. Yeah. All I knew was that I felt I was no good to this world. I was not a good mom. I was not a good employee. I hit a stage where I just didn't want to be here anymore. It was a very, very dark place. And after spending quite a few weeks in hospital and going for group therapy and spending a lot of time.
So were you in hospital just for pure burnout?
It was pure exhaustion.
Like I didn't hit a point where you just thought, I cannot take another step
Yeah,
forward.
it was pure mental exhaustion. And I didn't know that I was so exhausted. But when I think back and if I think about what I'd put on my plate, no wonder.
Yeah.
Wonder I was really I had really high expectations of myself and what I thought my family wanted from me, what my work wanted from me. And really I became no value to anyone. Yeah. So it was really, I'm so grateful for that experience. I'm grateful that I've hit rock bottom in my life, and emotionally and physically possibly as well, because when you build up from that, jeepers, you are strong.
Yeah.
And you are then so much more empathetic with people that are going through the same thing.
Yeah.
It made me so much more in touch with what can happen.
Yeah.
And it's made me a better leader and a better mom, I think, too. But it did bring me to a crossroads of having to make a decision. So I made a decision that I'm going to go and work full time.
Yeah.
I want to build a business. I'm not one of those people that has ever wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I've always wanted to be a person that is financially independent, that can make my own decisions, that is not beholden to someone else to look after me. I would rather look after other people.
Yeah.
I've wanted success in my life for myself. So I made the decision, okay, Jacqui, you can still be a wonderful mom. You're not going to stop loving your children. And actually, when they have a thriving mom, then they thrive.
100%. And I also think, we can have success and not have to feel guilty about it.
Not at
Because
all.
the guilt is a big thing. And I think part of that journey of being an entrepreneur is 99% personal development in the beginning.
Yes.
Because your mindset has to hit rock bottom and back to be able to be that leader, be that strong person, be the best mom and wife and succeed at your business. I think a lot of it is personal development.
Definitely. And you have to go through various things with yourself and give yourself the time to analyze what is it that's going on with you. What is it that you want? What is it that you're feeling? Listen to it. It makes it, it's necessary. Okay, I wouldn't want anybody to go and hit rock bottom the way I did. It was an awful experience. But at the same time, it had many, many, many benefits.
Yeah.
And it was something that really had to happen to me.
Yeah.
But yes, I went back then and I started working full day, and I put my heart and soul during that time into my business. But then I came home and I was a mom. And I was a good mom.
And you felt good because you had achieved something and you were doing what you love.
Yes. And I think also, I've always wanted to be a strong example to my children, especially my girls. I have 2 girls and I have a son.
Yeah.
But for my girls, I've always wanted to set the example that, you know what? You do not have to be beholden to anyone else. You do need to be financially independent. It gives you so much more power and say. And I think respect. I think your husband respects you more when you are actually contributing to the household and you are excited about life because you have a passion and you have something to get up for in the morning. I'm not knocking women that want to be full-time moms. That's amazing. Everybody's different. Just for me personally, I wanted to be able to financially look after myself and never one day look at my parents and say, okay, could you help me out with this? Or look at my children, as I get older now, look at my children and say, oh, please, can you help me with this? I don't want that.
And it's such a motivator because, I often ask people, they say, they want to be wealthy, they want to earn X amount per year. And I say, well, why do you want that? Because it's not the money that you want.
No,
it's the
freedom.
deep-seated reason behind that. And for me as well, it's that I want to set an example for my daughter.
Exactly.
I want her to be that fierce, be that hungry and driven and experience that and not be pressurized to have to stay at home the minute you have kids and, be judged for that and feel guilt.
Yeah.
And it's okay to want success. And,
Absolutely.
And, you need to understand what is really driving behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That is the reason that you want to make money.
Yes.
And that is exactly it.
Yes.
Nothing can beat that determination.
No, absolutely. And, I've never really been a very materialistic person. I mean, you could argue I drive a lovely car and I've got a lovely home.
It's nice to have nice things.
Nice to have that. But I'm not really, I'm not into this Gucci bags and, Versace clothing, and I'm not into any of that. That's not important to me. It doesn't define a person, and I don't really admire people that are very materialistic. I look more at who you are as a person and how you treat other people. But money and success, it does give you freedom.
It does.
And it gives you freedom to kind of be amazing in your own life with other people.
Yeah.
Like, it gives me the freedom to be able to treat other people well and to maybe assist other people in their growth and to pay good salaries to my staff and
change other people's lives.
Absolutely. I think that is the greatest joy. The greatest joy is being able to change other people's lives, and being successful and earning good money gives you that.
100%. I love that. I think, what I really actually want to speak about and touch on a little bit is the startup phase of a business. Now, I do think everybody's journey has its unique challenges and, different things that you face. But I also think there's a lot of common threads that a lot of entrepreneurs are experiencing when they're in the startup phase of their business. What challenges and hurdles did you have when UDM was starting to grow and you really wanted to get it to the next level? And how did you deal with that?
Yeah, so I think in the beginning, the most important thing is really to find a very good client. In my company, it was finding a stable, good client. And when you find a client that you want to work with, I think you've got to have common values, first of all. So you've got to be able to trust each other. They've got to know that you've got honesty, you've got integrity, you've got drive, and that you will put them first.
Yeah.
So I think finding that client, first of all, is very important. There might be a lot of opportunities that come your way, but maybe they don't think the same as you. Maybe they don't have the same values as you.
You've got to have synergy.
Absolutely.
And aligned values.
Yes, absolutely. Otherwise, you start I've experienced it too. You start resenting. You don't really want to do well for them. You couldn't really care less. And that is the most dangerous place to be. Yeah. So I think really I was very fortunate. After a few years, we found a really good client and we had the same values. We had the same outlook, the same drive and the same passion. And honesty and integrity, I think I like to use those words a lot, because when somebody says you something and you can believe exactly what they're saying and they believe exactly what you're saying, you can build a very strong relationship. So finding that client, first of all, is very important, and making sure that it's somebody that you really want to grow with and dedicate your time to.
So we can be as selective with who we work with versus just trying to get anyone and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think you must settle for just doing stuff that you wouldn't really want to do and work for people that you don't really want to work for. I think it takes the edge off, and it really doesn't bring that satisfaction, which then leads to a shorter term relationship, I would say. I would say really select people, if you're lucky enough to be able to select, but select someone that you really admire, that you can learn from, they can learn from you, and that you can trust and that you can be yourself with and open and honest with. I think that's very, very important.
I like that. I believe in that as well. I believe in integrity and honesty and real connection and relationships, because I think that is where magic happens.
Yes, absolutely.
Because naturally you're aligned.
Yes.
It's a seamless fit instead of forcing it to make it work.
Yeah, and I suppose it's like that with any relationship in your life. You don't choose friends that you don't really admire. You kind of so business is life. It's nothing really different to life. So the same principles that you have in your own personal life, if you apply that into your business, then you're building something that suits you and feels right, and that you can work with.
It's so interesting you say that. So I listened to a podcast by James Wedmore, who's a really brilliant, he's built a very big online business. And he spoke about how a business is like a relationship, and people don't treat it that way.
Yes.
But you have to see what your business needs as if it was a relationship.
Absolutely.
Who is it going to form relationships with? What does it need internally, to become really successful? And if you look at it that way, you'll nurture it. And I think a lot of people forget to nurture their business in that way.
Yes. And I found we'll probably get to that, because I think definitely post-COVID, it's changed the whole dynamic of how some people treat their businesing. And I think there's detriment. It's to their detriment. But we'll get to that, I think, a little bit later. But so in the beginning, I think the hurdles are really finding first of all, the right client, very important. And then it's surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
That is like fundamentally the most important thing in business, as in your life.
Yeah.
So I think it's taking, and when you're young, you don't really know that. You don't really, I didn't know that. I didn't realize the importance of it. But if you even have one person that you bring in that you can trust, that works hard, that has your back no matter what, that also has those qualities of honesty and integrity, and treats that business like it's their own business, that's gold.
And I love this, and this is really important because, anyone that starts their own business, or maybe the business is just sort of few years in and they're sort of breaking even, the next logical step is to find the right people.
Yeah.
How do you do that? And at an affordable rate. How do you find people that love the business as much as you do? And because, there's the same concept that no one will ever love your business as much as you do, and no one will ever put in as much effort. But I do think there are people out there that will be committed to the bigger cause.
Yeah. I think you develop them like that. I think it's through your relationship with them. It doesn't just automatically happen.
Okay.
But when you involve them, when you make them part of the process, when you reward them well, when you're vulnerable with them, so that they rally around you, when you celebrate in the successes with them, and you communicate well, and you tell them, listen, we have this challenge, or we have this success, or we're going for this, or imagine what life could be like if we got there, or imagine the impression we could make if we did this. They become part of it with you.
Yeah.
So
of the
it
vision
is,
of your business.
You do that. So the leader does that. People don't just come into your business and say, oh my God, I love this and I feel this. No, they don't. They don't feel anything. All they feel about is, I'm waiting for the 25th of the month and I want to get paid. They don't care. They don't care. Yeah. So I think with a good leader and with honesty and kind of integrity with them, but also authenticity and being real with them, you can rally your troops to create something amazing. And it's I've been in this for 30 years now, so I'm now in a situation where I have that. But in the beginning, I didn't have that. I mean, we started with employing students. We didn't have enough money to pay permanent people. We didn't even know if we were going to have a business in 2 months' time. So we would go to universities, and at that time it wasn't online. We would put up little posters all over the universities, and we would say, okay, if you're looking for we want people to work 20 hours a week, and we'll pay you 20 Rand an hour. So, if you would like that, come and we'll interview you. And I remember it was so much fun because Bob, my partner, he would interview all the good-looking young girl students, females, and I said, okay, I'm interviewing all the male students. We had so much fun doing it. So we had so much fun. We took on students that we paid 20 Rand an hour. And then only after time did some of those students become permanent staff. Now what I do is, and I started this about 15 years ago, was I wanted to be on control of who we could get in, and also make it cost effective. Because if you go through agencies, it's very, very expensive when you have to pay their annual percentage of their annual salary. So I formed our own recruitment division, and we then also formed our training academy. So what we do is we bring in 25 to 30 new trainees every week. For 15 for 15 years we've been doing that. And then they go through a 12-week training program. But at any time during those 12 weeks, if they're not reaching the standards, if they are absent a lot, if they're not reaching their targets, then they go. And
you'll know whether they have the personality or not, or the attitude to be able to fit into that UDM culture at that point.
Absolutely. And that is a big thing. Fitting into our culture or fitting into any culture is very, very, very important. And I think you can feel a company's culture as soon as you walk in. And if you feel, if you feel like you want to run away, then best you run away, because, your gut will tell you. And it's one of my questions. I always ask the people, how did you feel when you walked through the doors here? And, you can see if they're giving you an honest answer. Fitting into culture is very big. But, so now what I do is I bring in people. So it's in my business, in a call center environment, it's very target driven. It's very tough. It's very fast paced. I have very high standards. So it's not for everyone. It's really not for everyone.
It's a tough environment.
It's
and
tough.
I think, and this is really interesting because how much staff have you got at the moment?
I've got close to 450 staff at the moment.
So that is a lot. And if you think of the environment that they have to work in every day, it's tough to make sales calls. And I think you get a lot of rejection. And you also have a lot of positives and make a lot of sales,
Yes.
And this comes into the topic of being a leader and how you create high performance teams. Now, I have seen some of the things that you've done.
We're crazy.
And it is wild, and I love it because the energy in your office is something else. And I mean, I've obviously been there, and I can feel it when I walk in. There is an energy and there is a culture. And I see videos of you guys riding bulls, dancing, like doing gym classes. I mean, weird and wonderful things. Tell me about that. Tell me how, or the things that you've done to really create that high performance team, that motivation that makes people come in every day willing to start again and go through that grind.
Yes. So, we're a bit of a weird, wild, creative company, which I love. It makes us very different. But yes, I think, like you say, we are a very target-driven company, and it's highly pressurized. I mean, we get paid for a sale that we make. If we don't make one, we don't get paid.
It's literally money per minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I know exactly what we're earning per minute and what we need to do. So we have to create some fun around that. So it's a rule, actually. So part of our culture is you have fun and you smile. So
I love that. I believe in smiling because
it tells your body you're fine.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I love that.
So I give all of my divisions, they get a fun day budget. So every month they get thousands of rands that they have to spend on fun.
Oh, I love that.
So it's crazy what they've come up with. I mean, we've had dunk tanks where they've put me on a dunk tank, and then if they've made target in the day, people can come throw a ball, and then I get immersed in this dunk tank, which is amazing fun because then all the managers and everybody got a chance to get dunked. We do crazy things. They've got a survivor thing happening at the moment. So the elite division, which is my top sales division team. So they have got survivor happening. So they were put into teams, and they've built the camps, like survivor camps, built out of dinkum like bamboo, and they've got pots, those pots, puiki pots hanging. They've got the names. They've taken the names of elite, and they've changed it around to form the names of their tribes. And every third night they've got like tribal council, so they've got it on video, and they're like giving reasons why they're voting someone out. It is tremendous. They've even put the music in the background. It's like brilliant. And then like we have days like on Friday, the new team, the upgrade team, Capital Legacy team, they came dressed in their pajamas, and it was the best dressed in their pajamas. And then they have a dance off. And if you go permanent, you dance because you have to go into a new team. So you have to have a little bit of a initiation. So every day there is something wild going on there.
And I have to actually just paint a picture because I've seen these videos. So, for everyone listening, you literally have a big speaker in the office, like one of those JBL.
Yes.
I think it's a JBL speaker.
Yes.
I don't know what it is. And everyone, there's like a huge circle of all the staff, and there are people doing dance moves in the middle, like from break dancing to you dancing.
Yes.
Like the vibe and energy and fun is on a different level.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Sometimes I think, oh my gosh, is this like really professional? But you know what? It is a happy place.
And it's fun.
It's
Work
fun.
can be fun. Work doesn't have to be, I think, people would maybe think that your environment is corporate-y because you've got 450 people and there's 2 huge buildings. But it doesn't have to be. Who says it has to be like that?
There's no rules. You know what I mean? There's no rules. It's like, also there was a big thing, about dress code, and I went through a stage while you have to look smart and you have to, act the part. It's kind of like so old-fashioned. I just think the more comfortable people are, the more they feel at home. The better. Yes, we are strict. Like it's not just all fun. We have great processes in place, and we get there. We are hugely successful in what we do, but the people are happy, and I think happy people thrive. We started. I want to touch on it because it's such a huge thing for us. A few years ago, we started a wellness program called FitFlow. So my trainer Stephen Gonzalez, he wanted to bring wellness and exercise and movement into our company. And it's turned out to be so hugely successful. So what we do is myself and Stephen, we train with our staff 3 times a week on Zoom. So at 6 o'clock, we're doing exercises with our staff on Zoom, which started really in COVID, and that stayed because people want to train in early in the morning.
Yep.
But then those same classes are done every day. I've built a gym at work.
Love it.
So every day we have the Fit Flow people, they come down to the gym and we do classes every day for half an hour from 12:30 to 1. But it's so much fun. Then on Fridays, I do dance classes with them. So I take them back to the 80s. I use my own kind of like playlists, and I lead like an aerobics class. Oh, God, we have so much fun.
And it's so nice for them to see you like that.
Yes.
Because I do think, and we forget this, is when you have someone in this power position and someone who's achieved so much, it can be really intimidating for people that come to work for you.
Yes.
But then they see you in this vulnerable state having fun, and it's a completely different ball game. you know? And I think also, what you're touching on with the wellness is a really important point when it comes to building a successful business, because what people forget is that your body is the most important resource that you have.
Yes.
And we forget to nourish it. We forget that we have to eat healthy and exercise so that our body and mind are in the best state and condition to be able to give the best.
Yeah. Well, that's why,
possibly
I
can.
think that's why I go back to saying why I was so grateful to have had that kind of like mental breakdown and exhaustion and depression, because I realized that the only thing that really helped me was exercise, like to release those endorphins and dopamine and serotonin and all those amazing hormones. It takes moving your body. And I do believe that a healthy body is a healthy mind.
Yeah.
And eating, eating is probably one of the most important things. And when you're in a job where you're sitting most of the day, and also you've got targets and you are just, in your head all the time, to get out and to move that body and to feel fitter and to, it's just the most rewarding thing for me to see the people that I least expected to join Fit Flow have joined Fit Flow, and it has changed their lives. Not only, I don't do it to create skinny people. That's really not my mission.
It's the health
It is the health benefit. It's releasing of those hormones. It's the camaraderie. It's the fun. It's the music. It's the movement. People are being able to move their bodies better now than they've ever done.
Yeah.
And they're getting educated on breathing techniques. I mean, we do classes on breathing and the importance of breathing, and how to calm yourself down, how to really just focus inward, how to be quiet, just how to spend time on your own and with no noise. I'm bringing in another thing now called Blue Shield, which is really trying to minimize the effects of the frequencies that we're exposed to with Wi-Fi and with cell phones. So we're trying to get it back to a natural kind of frequency level.
That's interesting.
So that is also proven to increase mood and to alleviate sickness, because I'm probably I'm not tolerant of illness. And I'm terrible. It's like my weakness.
You can't afford to have it.
I don't like
because,
sick people.
In your business, every minute is money.
Yeah.
And it's also, I love the whole thing because I do think it manages burnout.
Yes.
And I'm the type of person where I used to go 500%, and I used to work till 2 a.m, and I used to wake up at 4 and carry on, skip gym because I didn't want to skip an hour, because I didn't want to miss working. All that leads to is poor results and burnout.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. So where balance comes in, exercise, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't mean you have to be in a gym pumping weights if that's not your thing.
Of course.
Maybe it's boxing. Maybe it's yoga. Maybe it's just walking around the block.
Or a Zumba class.
Or maybe it's just dancing with your children. You know what I mean? But you have to do it every day. And it has to be something that you really get to enjoy because it feeds your soul.
Yeah.
And that is where balance comes in. You've got to do that. You've got to balance yourself.
Yeah.
And also you've got to be, I've become very aware of what I eat. So eating things with more energy in it, more fruit.
And
more
carbs. We need
Yes,
carbs,
we need carbs. We can have the healthy carbs, but we
Yeah.
have to do it. So I say get away from the sodas, get away from sugar, get away from pizzas and burgers and chips and anything fried. Get to eat back from the earth. Get down on the earth, get outside, walk bare feet, go and, get back to the real things in nature, and bring that into your business. And it has profound impact.
I totally agree with that. So I live that way, and I believe that if you are nurturing your body and mind and giving it what it needs, you will excel at what you're doing.
Yes.
If you deprive it of that, which everyone used to think doing 20-hour days or 16-hour days and eating junk food because then you need the fuel, the sugar and all that.
No.
Everyone used to think that was the only route to success. I disagree with that. I think that you have to balance your body. You have to eat healthy and you have to eat carbs. Don't starve yourself. I have potatoes every day. I have broccoli. I have ostrich patties, chicken breast. And smoothies with strawberries.
Smoothies are brilliant. Smoothies are great. 100%. Just throw it all in there.
And you don't hit those energy dips. I maintain that throughout the day, and I feel good about myself. I'm healthy, and I'm still getting sleep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super exciting that you're using that in your business. The one thing that you mentioned was, obviously time is money in your business. So, you have to be really specific about who you target, because you cannot waste time on leads that aren't going to generate or convert into a sale. Now, what often entrepreneurs do when we start a business, we try and be everything to everyone. And all that does is lead to diluted efforts and poor results. How do you in UDM get to a point where you are really targeted and find your niche audience or niche? Some people call it niche. I call it niche. How do you get to that point, and how do you create sort of a winning strategy to relate to that audience? Because the minute you try and speak to everyone and everything and try to be everything to everyone, you don't engage and you don't relate, and that's when you don't convert.
Okay, so let's just talk about time first of all. So in my business, what I do is I plan everybody's every minute. So if I've got 300 sales agents, every sales agent I know is going to be working those days, those hours. And therefore, I'm going to be planning every single hour and what they should be doing. It sounds weird, but it is so, people love to have direction. They love to know what's expected of them. It's the same that I say in training. If my trainer said to me, or if I didn't have a trainer and I was starting to do push-ups, I would probably do 6. But if I've got a trainer that says to me, Jacqui, you're going to be doing 20, I'll only be dying by the time I reach 19. You know what I mean? So I think it's very important in your business to guide or to set out what needs to be done.
I love this, and I'm going to tell you why. Sorry for interrupting, but it's a really important point, because often we just assume that employees know what we want, and it's a very big misconception to have. And one of the best things that you can do is literally write a step-for-step structure about what you want them to do. So, because when people are clear about what they're expected to do, the better they're going to perform. But I think a big mistake that a lot of people make is you hire someone and you just expect them to understand your business and read your mind.
And just go and do what you can do.
And
meanwhile, they must do what you want to do.
100%.
So it's really
I
just
love that.
So we plan every single person. So with that plan, it's on a big spreadsheet, on our spreadsheet. So we know exactly how many hours, how many sales they're going to make. What does that mean turnover-wise? What does that mean target-wise? What does it mean for their income? They then get their own personalized version of that, which is their target sheet. So they know, okay, this week I'm working these hours, I'm working on this campaign, this is my target, and that's going to give me so much income. If they want to be ambitious, they can go to their supervisor and say, you know what, I actually want to push it a little bit more. What would that result in income-wise? You just plug in some more figures.
Because they obviously work
they can
commission-based.
They earn a basic salary plus incentives, but the higher they achieve, the higher the incentives. So they want to reach 100% of their target, and maybe even 110, 120%. So there's no limit. There's no limit to what somebody can earn at UDM, and that's the beauty of it.
Is that the key to scaling? Is that UDM's key to scaling to the next level? What was the turning point?
I would say it definitely is giving people unlimited or an uncapped earning potential, and to be generous. Like a lot of companies would say, and I think it even happens in restaurants when the tips are being put into a bowl and then everybody gets a split of those tips. No ways. If a person is brilliant, they should be rewarded for being 100%. Brilliant, not split. It's like it's not socialism. There's not socialism here. It's capitalism. You should be rewarded for what you do. So in our business, I mean, my top person she earns twice as much as I do. And that's fine because she's bringing that in. So it's our incentive structures are definitely geared towards reaching better than people thought or better than what's expected. So there's always an apple or a carrot that is right up there that you can get there. And people, you know, when you break it down for people as well and say, okay, but if you make $30 an hour and if you speak to 30 people a day and you convert at this level, that is what you're going to achieve. But if you're going to make $10 a day or $20 a day, I can promise you, you are never going to get there. So it's us knowing what needs to be done, communicating that and showing them that if you do it, this is where you're going to get to.
And it's a clear path.
It's clear. It's clear. It comes down to numbers, really. Yeah. You know, in my business, I'm not speaking about anybody else's, but if you're going to put in this amount, it's going to result in that. And if they can see that and then you set it in that way and you set your incentive structures to correlate with what you want, well, then you've got a winning recipe.
And do you work on, so you obviously calculate what you're earning per lead is, and then, you know, you have sort of a structure and a sales pitch and a recipe and a how-to for everybody in the company, and now it's just rinse and repeat.
Yes, and it's also then having the proper reporting structures. So, for instance, I can pull off my IT systems a DALS report. I call it a DALS report for each person for any period of time. So I can see, if I do a detailed productivity, for instance, I can see when they were on the phone, when they were off, when they had a break, and how long was that break? What time was that break? How many dials did they make then? And what was that time in between calls? So I can analyze exactly what that person does. That's very important because you are managing from a place of knowledge. Yeah. If they could say to me, oh, but Jacqui, I did do this and I did do that, but no, I didn't do that. I did this. And I can say, my darling, you actually didn't. Because if I look here, you went to the toilet here for 20 minutes.
Like, what were you doing?
And then you did that again in another 20 minutes. So it's being able to have I've got a great IT division that can generate any report that I want. And then they plug it into all of my telephone systems and I can pull reports that can tell me exactly what people are doing. That's very important. It's very powerful and it's very necessary if you really want to set benchmarks, set standards, and everything from there, it's communicated and everybody knows what's expected. And you set it just higher than people think's doable. Yeah. You know, like I always... You know, I think I'm a pain in the ass to a lot of my managers because they'll say, Jacqui, the target here is going to be, 25 a day. And I'll say, you know what? I think it should be like 32. So it always goes, if they say 25, I know it's 32. There's no way. You know, they're not going to tell me it's 20.
People will under-promise so that they can
over-deliver.
You know?
So, I'm always trying to push them a little bit higher with that. So in business, it's knowing exactly what can be done, being able to monitor what you are doing, being able to set benchmarks, being able to communicate targets and really where they need to be. People love it. They really rise to that because they want to show you that they can do better. Then giving them proper rewards at the end of that, like paying them well. Come on, you got to share in what you get, you share because that builds people behind you and around you. Yeah. And then when it comes to leads, we don't generate our own leads. We are provided with a database from our client. Yeah. So together with them, and that's where it comes in with the honesty and the integrity and working well and having this great relationship with your client. Together I could say to him, you know what, I've analyzed and people of this, race or people living in these areas, they don't buy as well. They don't buy this product. They would possibly buy this product better. So let's take those leads out of that campaign and let's maybe move them into this campaign. It's, again, being able to analyze your results and have a dig into your data and have a look. And then you can kind of focus your product offering on the right from experience of what you've done in the right areas. Like, for instance, I've even learned that women sell better to men. So I put more women on my male data campaign. So I separate the data into males and females, even African. And I've just found that women sell better to men. And then the women love to get a call from a very polite male So these young men that say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, or, are very respectful and lovely, women buy from them. So we focus things in the right place. And you only learn that through experience, through doing it.
100%. It's so interesting, you speak about the numbers and having to know the numbers. And I see this over and over again, where I work with people who are running businesses and I say to them, well, what is your target? People don't even have a target. So I say, well, how are you going to firstly measure how you're performing if you've got no target? How are you going to get to where you're going if you don't know where you're going?
Yes.
So knowing your numbers and your earnings per lead and is it working, is it not, is really important. And what happens is, if something doesn't work and maybe your earnings per lead is quite low, then instead of saying, oh, it's a failure, this isn't working, I'm doing whatever, I'm going to give up the business, it's how do I better that conversion? How do I relate to them more? How do I tweak it? Like you are, where you're saying, I realize that, women relate better when a man calls them, or my saleswomen do much better when they're calling men. It's simply doing the same thing and tweaking it until your earnings per lead improves.
Yes. Also, I think the scripting is very important. It's what you say and how you say it. We don't want to sound scripted. We want to, I think also a big secret in call centers especially is loving the product you're selling.
Yeah.
If like when I speak to trainees, because I meet trainees every week, so that I can kind of like have a look at those dials reports and say, okay, you need to do better here, or if you up this, you could do that. Oh my gosh, you're a natural salesperson, but you're actually not supporting it with doing enough work on this side. So for instance, when I meet with them, it's amazing how much guidance and how much they want to be told what is expected. They need clear expectations. They need something to work towards, because otherwise they're floating in no man's land.
Yeah.
So,
and nobody's productive in no man's land.
Absolutely.
100%. That's so interesting. I wanted to touch on one more point that I think a lot of people who are high performance struggle with, and that is delegating. So, if you are a high achiever and you have a very clear vision in your mind of what you want to get to and the level that you want it at, and you have expectations that are just up here.
Yeah.
How do you get to the point where you delegate?
Yeah. It's interesting because I think I struggled with that right at the beginning.
Yeah.
But again, it's bringing in the right people. So I do have a strong belief, and I believe in it now too, is that you need to know everything about your business. If you own the business, and if you're the leader, and if you are the person that's expecting certain things, you must know your business. And that means everything. So when you start your business, you do start doing everything. You are the accountant, you're the recruiter, you are the admin person, you're the MD, you're the coffee maker, you're the everything. So that's great, because you do learn a little bit about everything.
Yeah.
So even if you're not doing it right, you are at least trying, and you are putting spreadsheets together, and you're doing debits and credits and all those boring things. So it's very important. And I think it's important because as you grow, you then hopefully have some income to bring in people that are better than you. Yeah. You need to. In everything, I want to bring in people that are better than me. Yeah. So then I'll look for somebody that loves admin. I hate admin.
Yeah,
I mean, I've done it. I thought I loved it. I
hate detail in
admin. I actually hate it. Like I forget, even now with saving stuff on my computer, I don't know where I've saved it. I can't remember the names that I saved it. It's a nightmare. So I bring in somebody that's great at that and loves that. So let them handle that for me, because then that frees me up to do podcasts with Jen. You know what I mean?
And be the visionary of your company.
Yes, and also to kind of look at it from a bigger perspective, and then try and, because like if you're stuck in the detail, you're not thinking big. You're not thinking.
You become an employee.
Yeah.
You don't become the leader of your company.
Yes.
And I think this happens often, because when people start a business, they get so involved in the detail and doing the nitty gritty, and they don't bring people on board that are better than them to take over those tasks. They don't enjoy it. Because they're not doing what they actually love.
No.
And then they say, well, this isn't as glamorous and fun as what I love to do.
Yes.
This isn't what I thought, so I'm going to give up. But actually, you're not doing the role you're meant to be doing.
Yes.
You have to free up your time. You have to delegate so that you can be that visionary and do what you love. And
also go around and like what I do is I spend a lot of time moving from division to division. So for instance, I don't stay in one place. So I will have an office in this building, and then I will sit with the trainees and I will listen to what they do, and I will then be with the sales processing division and find out what they do. And then I'll move and I'm going to go sit in the cosmetics floor, and then I work with the cosmetics people and get involved there. And then I'll move on to the elite floor. So I feel it's very important. You know, I spoke about COVID earlier. I just feel that as a leader, you need to be at your business. You need to be involved. You need to care. You need to get to know your people. You need to show face. You need to be there. To say, "My gosh, you did so well yesterday. Did you see how well you did yesterday?" Whereas I found, like post-COVID, there's so many people that say, "No, well, I'm going to be working from home now. I'm working remote, and I will just Zoom in with my people."
It does not.
I'm scared. I'm scared because I think that is such a detrimental thing to your business. So even though I delegate, yes, I've got everybody doing everything, and I've got amazing people, because another thing I'll tell you is that I only promote internally, but we can maybe talk about that just now. But to be involved in your business and to be there, for me, it's fundamental. Like, I don't know if you've ever been into a coffee shop, and when the coffee shop started, the owner was there, and then the staff were on point, and the service was great. And then a few months in, you go there, and it's completely different. And why? The owner's not there anymore. You know, he's maybe off opening another one. And suddenly, this company is just not what it used to be. And it just starts, you know, becoming just a shell of what it used to be. So I'm very a strong believer in being involved and being at your business every day and driving it and being excited about it and watching it flourish and watch the people flourish. So with that, you know, I only promote internally. So where you're talking about growing your business, I bring in people like sales agents, but anybody that's getting promoted to a sales supervisor or a QA or your manager, all of my people have been promoted from the entry-level positions. Everyone. My senior managers, my senior manager, Anya, she used to be the receptionist. She is now, you know, indispensable as my sales manager, senior manager.
And then you've got people for life.
You know, my people, if I had to add up the years of the people, you know, I've got 350 people, 400 people, but if I have to add up the years, I mean, Anya's been there 16 years. I've got Bridget's there for 18 years. I've got sales agents, Zenith and Shireen, sisters, they've been there for 18, 19 years. You know, all of my people, my daughter Siobhan started there as a sales agent when she was studying. You know, she's a senior manager and really runs the business underneath me. But she started at the bottom and she had to spend years. She's been there like 11 years now, I think. And it's been working from this bottom up. And that's amazing because they have knowledge. They are involved in the growth. They've celebrated in the successes.
They are part of this relationship.
Oh my gosh,
this is like a marriage.
It is.
It's actually like a marriage.
It is.
And I think it's priceless. Those people are worth their weight in gold.
No, absolutely.
Know? And I think it also proves that the environment that you've created is one that people flourish and love.
Yeah, it's a family. You know, I always say, you know, I said once we have these amazing year-end functions at the end of the year where it's a big award ceremony and we spend over R1 million on it. It's just the most incredible reward for our staff. And I said once in my speech there that, you know, I honestly believe that if I asked my staff to move Table Mountain from here and they must move it there, they would do it. They would find a way to do it. That is the type of loyalty and the amount of love that we have in this business.
I love
and that is, you know, for me, that is the biggest success of UDM is the way the people have flourished and the way they feel they are in a safe and happy place where they are valued and appreciated and they're paid as such. It's an amazing thing. Amazing thing for me.
I love that. And you're such an inspiration. I mean, I know I've obviously told you that before, but I think, you know, you are a walking, breathing, living example that anything is possible if you have the right mindset, number one.
Yes.
You know, it is about personal development, yourself, going through that entrepreneurial journey, but it's also about people and it's about treating people the way that you would want to be treated, about adding value to those people in your business, creating that environment where they flourish, because they will become lifelong partners in your relationship.
Absolutely.
You know? And I think that, I've felt it. I've walked into your building. I can see the love that's there, and the enthusiasm and the excitement and the willingness to get up every day and go and do the same thing and do better that day than they did yesterday. That energy is there, and the fact that people are there after 20 years or 18 years and are still doing that, then it just shows that the ingredient that you've got is just right,
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
But I think, if you could give any tip to any woman who's got a family, trying to start a business, or they've been running a business for a few years, and they maybe feel burnt out or exhausted, and they just need to keep going, what tip would you give them?
Well, I think first of all, if you're feeling burnt out and exhausted, go and rest. Give yourself a break. You know what? Tomorrow is going to be tomorrow. Life is not going to stop.
It's not going away.
It's not going away. And you are good enough. Your family loves you. You've got great friends. You're alive. So don't put unnecessary pressure on yourself. If you're exhausted, go and rest. And when I say rest, I mean take 6 weeks, 8 weeks. I was so bad. I had my mom move in and I slept with her and held her hand every night. That's how bad it was. So please sleep. Get yourself good rest. And when I mean good rest, eat well, breathe, let it go, meditate, learn how to meditate. And
I do it daily and it changes. It literally changed my life.
Absolutely. Just be still with yourself, love yourself. So give yourself that time. Then if you want to go for a business, your children are fine. They don't need you 24/7. They don't need you 24/7. In fact, they would prefer it if you weren't around, all the time. So give yourself time to focus on whatever it is that you love. Find something that you're really passionate about and go for it. Give it 110%, 150% in the time that you're going to give it, and then forget about it. Don't sweat the small stuff. I've really realized that is a big thing. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't linger on stuff. Don't make assumptions. Don't take things personally. Really just enjoy and do the best that you can for you and your family and for your business. Find that balance, and don't be in too much of a rush. Things will happen as they must. Just be ready. I've always said be ready for an opportunity because opportunities come. I've found in my life, I don't really go look for those opportunities necessarily, but if you are working hard and you're enjoying what you're doing, and if you are treating people well and people are happy around you, people are thriving, opportunities tend to come to you. And always be ready for that. Be ready to recognize a very good opportunity and then go for it again. Give it your all. So life has a way, it tends to have a way of working out the best way for you. But if you've got the right mindset, the right attitude, belief that, my father always said to me, Jacqui, you can really do anything. What makes you think that you can't do anything? Why should that person be more successful than you? Why should that person be happier than you? Why, you have everything that you want. You're in control. So once we know that, well, then let's do it.
I so agree with that. I think, the universe is so for you.
Yes.
And when you see it that way, it's like all these opportunities and good things just happen. And you're like, wow, I'm so lucky. Like, what a coincidence. But it is so true that if you just start and do what you love and carry on and have a good mindset where your vibrations are on this level,
absolutely,
you will naturally attract opportunities to you because you'll see them.
Yes.
If your mindset is in a bad space, you're going to find everything negative. If I said to you, Jacqui, go into the room, tell me everything that was red. When you come out, you'll label everything that was red. If I say to you, did you see anything blue? You probably won't be able to tell me because you weren't looking for it.
Yes.
So I do think it's, your mindset is everything. And you are a living example of that, which is why I really wanted you on the show. But Jacqui, one last question for you. And this is important. Is it ever too late to start?
Never. I'm 55 now, and I feel like my life is just kind of like beginning in so many ways. Like only 2 years ago did we start the wellness program, and that has become something so amazing. I've got more energy now and more confidence now than I've ever had in my life. And I can't see why that's not going to continue growing. So I think stay hungry and stay, if you're doing what you love, and who would have said, I would never have said that I want to own a call center. I mean, oh my God, I would never have said it, but I've made it something amazing. I've turned something that is so kind of boring and maybe stressful and really not appreciated in the world, but I've turned it into something that is amazing because when that's the wonderful thing about being an entrepreneur is that you can do whatever the hell you like. You can do it how you like. Nobody can tell you. There's no rules about, we should do it this way and this is the way people, no, you can do whatever you like. And the freedom to do that is so fantastic. So I think as long as you treat people well, that it comes back to you. If you have good intentions, then what can go wrong? You had good intentions. You did it out of the goodness of pleasing your client, of creating success because this person could earn more money. If you've got those good intentions, oh my gosh,
and
it
also
will work.
just enjoy it. I think people expect to be this overnight success, but it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. Like enjoy the process that it will happen.
And you've got to kind of define success. What is success? For me, success is being healthy at this point,
and enjoying your life and having fun
and healthy children. I've got healthy children. I've got healthy grandchildren. That is success. Beyond that. Yes, it's lovely to earn good money. Yes, but success can be defined in so many ways. And success for me is really getting up every day, having the health to go and lead a good life, having the opportunity to treat people well, loving my children, loving my husband, loving loving my grandchildren. What a gift is that? That's success. So if you want to add on to that, go for it.
And you've also changed 450 women's lives.
Yes, and you know what the big thing was? Somebody said to me once, Jacqui, if you impact one person's life, for every one person you impact, they are impacting 6. And those 6, each of them are impacting 6. And so it goes. And when you've got that in your mind, you think, my gosh, this is a huge responsibility, but it's a huge privilege too. So that is why I'm very strict in certain ways in my business too. Like if anybody tries to damage the business in any way, I think of all of those 6s of people. And if something bad had to happen to this business because of one individual, maybe committing fraud, maybe doing something illegal, gosh, that person gets cut. Because I've got a thing where I'm protecting all these people, and that's something that it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me. It's about so many others, and that's a privileged place to be in.
Oh, well, Jacqui, thank you so much. I'm so
pleasure.
excited to have you here because you are such an inspiration to so many women, and
thank you.
Keep going. You're an inspiration to me. You're an inspiration to the 450 women that you've got working for you at the moment, and some men as well, and also for everybody listening. So thank you so much for coming on my show.
It's a great pleasure, Jen.
What you gonna do when the rain is coming down? Nothing more to do when there's no one else around. Bring it back to the middle, push, take it back to the rhythm.